There it is. Welcome to Radio Oz. This is Metal Mike. Tonight's guests are Les and Joyce Carlsen. Les is known from Blood Good. Joyce is his lovely wife. They are now performing together as themselves. So welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. This is Les. This is Joyce.
Welcome.
Do the show.
Welcome.
So tell us a little bit about yourselves. Introduce yourself and give us a little brief summary of who you are and things like that.
Okay.
Well, I think you said it. This is Les Carlsen of Bloodgood fame, and I'm his wife, Joyce. Yeah, we've been together, 55 years we've been together. Just celebrated 52.
We got married when we were 5.
I was going to say, I was just a twinkle in somebody's eye at that point.
Figure it out. Just get your calculators out. And we've been together for a long time.
Well, congratulations on that.
So we go by Les and Joyce because that's our
names.
That's our names. So we go by that.
Yeah.
And you go by Mike.
Yep, or Metal Mike. I go to a show. I walk in a show and somebody says, "Hey, are you Metal Mike?" And I'm like,
"Oh, Metal Mike."
Yep, Metal Mike. And it comes from. We were talking about Bride before we went on the air. It comes from their song "Metal Mike" from their "Live to Die" album. I jokingly say it sounds like Dale singing "Metal Mike" in a couple parts of it. So, anyways, we'll start at, I guess, almost the beginning. We'll start with Les, and then we'll work into Joyce a little bit here too. I'm sorry, Joyce. Anyways, Les.
This is the legend.
That's the legend for sure. The legendary vocalist here. So take us back in time, Les. I've heard stories through the years and interviews that you began in theater.
Yeah.
So let's go back in time. You kept it going with the band too, with Blood Good as well. But we'll start way back. I don't know when. You started, and we'll just go from there.
Yes, 1970.
Okay,
right?
So Mike, I got to say this because you said theater, and that's fine because when I first got into theater, that's the way all the people I knew spoke it. They said they always wanted to be in the theater. Well, when I got in the theater, the company manager said to me, "Since you're going to be an actor, you need to learn that it's called the theater."
Okay.
Theater. Yes.
Yeah, theater.
So that's interesting. It's entertaining, but I was in the same place Mike was. And then I got straightened out by a New York director.
Yep.
It's theater.
Right there on the cement sidewalk.
And there I am. So then I was in theater because I auditioned for Hair when I was like 20 years old back in 1970. And, I had been in bands, local bands, played some dance circuits and stuff up in the Seattle Northwest area. And then I auditioned for Hair because I thought, if I'm going to be in show business, I ought to go deeper. And I actually got in. And that changed my life quite dramatically. And without that, I wouldn't be sitting next to this lovely person because I met her through Hair probably around 1971, maybe.
It was 70.
70,
yeah, because it was late 69 that I got into Boston Hair. He was in the Seattle, Miami show, and I was in the Boston show. And they put a road tour together and took people from all the main cities where they closed the shows down. And Les and I got cast in the same touring company, and that's where we met.
Yeah.
And
55 years ago.
We fell in love and have been together ever since.
And now we're doing a podcast with Metal Mike. Yeah. So from that, obviously, I was green when I first started, but I enjoyed it so much that I decided that I was going to go deep into being good at what I was doing. And I worked my way up from being a tribe member to the actual lead in the show. And got great reviews.
He did. He was awesome. And, he's still very theatrical. He's got, well, you can see it in the Bloodgood Theater, the Rock Theater.
Right.
You can see his theatrics there, but he just recently did, well, it's like 2019, he did 2016, he did St. John in Exile, which is a 90-minute monologue. And he did it in front of 500 people, and we got it on film, and it is just phenomenal. And it's just Les on stage by himself, and he's recounting stories as St. John on the island of Patmos in exile. And anyway, if you haven't seen it, it's pretty incredible.
So if you haven't seen it, there's a plug. Come to our website and we'll send you one.
I'm plugging you as an actor.
Thanks.
So
Thank you very much.
yeah, so there's that. And then after Hair, we
But I got the thing about that was I like acting. And when Joyce and I were in Hair, we were in Hair with Kenny Ortega. I'm going to throw some names out just so that it gives you better perspective as to where we've been in our life. Kenny Ortega choreographed Dirty Dancing. He did all the High School Musicals. He did Michael Jackson, This Is It. He was the director of that film. He was Berger and I was Claude, and he traveled with us in Hair. So we've been friends for 50 plus years. And when he saw St. John in Exile, his comment was that he didn't see Les. He saw St. John, which to me was like, oh,
great compliment.
that's
yeah.
a great compliment.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because you want to be that character and you want to be, oh, that's Les Carlsen from, Bloodgood. But I do love acting. I love singing and I love performing on stage. So from Hair, Joyce and I worked together in nightclubs
For like
12 years.
12 years, at least 12 years, yeah. So we were a top 40 band. We started out doing
Up in Seattle.
lounges, the lounge circuit, doing like Black Angus's and Red Onions and stuff like that. And then
In those days, people went to the clubs and actually would be there all night, listening to the band that starts at 9 o'clock, plays up until 1:30 or 2 o'clock. We'd be the entertainment. We did that 6 nights a week for 12 years. And so we got our chops together,
spent a lot of
Pretty
stage
good.
hours together.
yeah. And it was within that setting that we took our theatrics from Hair, used them in our club act, and we did quite well.
Yeah.
We packed the clubs in Seattle, and we were known as one of the better acts to come and see. And Joyce and I were doing stuff. We were funny. She was a mime artist, and she was doing robot stuff.
Yeah. I mean, right now on TikTok and everywhere on social media, they've got the Toy Story challenge,
Right.
where somebody just says, "Here comes Andy," and whoever it is turns into a doll, and you move them around, and they don't. We were doing that kind of stuff back, and it was fun.
Yeah, we were doing that, and we actually had Kenny Ortega come and choreograph some of the stuff that we did before MTV.
Anyway,
so we've been in that for a long time.
That's a long story. So,
well, I was going to tell it, but
okay,
it's all right. Did
All
you
right.
want to do it?
Okay. You did say
This is how we work together. I mean, I'm just laying it out there because obviously we're the guests and people want to know about what we did. And so it was many, many long years of getting to where we are now. And that included Hair, club acts, developing our theatrics. And then we got saved. And that we won't have to do that right now. I can tell that later. But we got saved. And then when I got into Bloodgood, and Bloodgood became this premier heavy metal Christian band that was filled with theatrics. So God knew what he was doing, giving us the right training along the way so that we portrayed the gospel in a more in-your-face way than just getting up there and playing a bunch of songs.
Yeah.
We were portraying the things and
visuals.
It read, people took it to heart. And of course, the gospel is powerful on its own, with or without us. The story of Christ is awesome.
Right.
And then, yeah.
So talking about Bloodgood, So going from a top 40 band and theatrics to a heavy metal band, we know we're going to get into Blood Good and their theatrics here in a second, but was that a stretch or was that where you progressed to heavy metal?
It wasn't a stretch. It was just a natural step.
Well, it wasn't even a progression. It was a leap of faith.
It was a
Right.
natural.
What I'm saying, going from top 40 lounges to
We weren't even doing that.
the heavy metal is a bit, to me, it is a stretch. I mean, yeah, you see artists do it all the time, but in that era, that seems like a big jump.
Well, it was because the heaviest thing we did was Billy Idol, probably. And I sang David Bowie and Mick Jagger and Beatles and Stones and Journey and she did all that,
Pat Benatar,
Blondie and everything.
It still had a good rock edge to it. Some of it
was rock. Yeah, it was rock. But then when I got into Blood Good, I got saved and I got into Blood Good. I had never done heavy metal, so the stretch was like it was like, well, I better listen to a great heavy metal singer. So I listened to Ronnie James Dio. And I don't sound like Dio, but I listened to him because I wanted to get my feet wet and sort of step into that.
right.
But it just turns out that my range and my ability to sing, I could do those things. And I put a little rasp on, and I haven't been able to get rid of it since. Yeah, and then that high scream and all that. And it worked out really good when I rehearsed with Michael and JT and David. And we did a Dio song, and it was like, hey, wow, we could do metal. So then we started writing that first album that we had, Blood Good. We started writing that, and it didn't take us very long, maybe a month and a half of just constant writing.
And that was produced by Daryl Mansfield, is that correct?
Yeah.
Another legendary name thrown in there.
Yeah, I think, Michael had been in Christian bands prior, and all the guys, David and Michael and JT, had all been in Christian music. I was the guy that came in from the secular world and all my experience, and we collided together, and it worked really nice. But the thing that we did, I think that was really wise, was that after we decided that we were going to put together this Blood Good band, because Michael had the greatest name. I mean, you're not going to, what are you going to call it? It's going to be Blood Good. It's got to be Blood Good. That's perfect. So we took that name, and but we decided, we're going to get together every Tuesday night, and we're going to pray first before we pick up the guitars. So we're going to pray and listen and seek God and ask him for the songs that we need for the records and for wherever we're going with this. And so I think that was a good foundational beginning. So that's how it worked. And, in the beginning, Michael had thought maybe we should take, Led Zeppelin lyrics and change them to Christian lyrics. And because of my background, I thought, no, let's just write original Christian stuff. We'll be totally original. And Michael went, yeah, that's a good idea. So we went with that, and we began to write things like, Accept the Lamb and Stand in the Light and You Lose. All those things were on that first album. Killing the Beast, I think, was on there too. Yeah, and it was perfect. And as we were doing that, I got a phone call from the road manager from a band called Heart in Seattle. I'm sure you heard of them.
Yeah.
Well, he used to be very interested in Les and Joyce as an act. And then we got saved, and so we kind of fell out of that, but he knew that we were still doing some kind of music. So he was, Albatross or somebody was producing Stryper, I guess, at the time, and they had to have a warm-up band. And of course, there were no other Christian rock bands to look for. So he came to us and said, Les, did you start a Christian hard rock band? And I said, yeah. He said, well, will you audition for this Stryper show? And I said, yeah, we'll do that. So they came out and saw us. I think we went through half of Except the Lamb, and they just stopped, said, "You got the gig." And so our very first gig was with Stryper in Bellingham, Washington on a Friday night. And our second gig was with Stryper in Seattle at the Paramount. Packed out house with Time magazine and all kinds of press and everything. And it was amazing. It was just like we were just taken and just put in the arena, you know. And Janice Sweet talked to Michael and I after and said, "Wow, you guys, we weren't expecting you guys." And she was very encouraging. And then I think a few weeks after that, we opened for Daryl Mansfield. And then Daryl said, "Oh my gosh, you guys, you know, I gotta take you to Frontline Records and see if I can get you a record deal." So that's kind of how it happened. Yeah.
Yeah. That's for starting out, and then you got two opening gigs for the band that pushed the boundaries at the first time. You know,
Yeah.
You know that was about, like I said, and then so we were talking about your theatrics. We did see the theatrics peek their heads out on that album, but then came the second album, and we really saw it. And I think that's where everybody started really paying attention, especially with Crucify and Messiah together. I mean, that just, I mean, just blew. I mean, like I said earlier on when we were talking offline, Crucify is what found me, you know, in 1987. So right about the time it was released, and then when I dug deeper and then heard Messiah and together, it just, yep, this is perfect.
Yeah, well, we had Holy Fire, and we had Eat the Flesh.
Yeah.
So it was like this metal rock opera.
Yeah, I mean, and then you had the last week of Christ there, you know, pretty much leading all in there together.
What have I done? What album was that on? That's about Peter.
Rock and a Hard Place.
That was later on. Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
And 7 was on Rock and a Hard Place. So we found out that a lot of the stuff that we was doing, if we put the songs together in the right order, that it created sort of a rock opera presentation. Yeah. And so yeah, it was. I wish I'd have gone to some of those early Bloodgood shows. I think I would have liked it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think, and then like I said, y'all done what? Y'all did 6 studio albums. So
did what?
6.
Yeah, we did. I think 5 studio albums.
5 or 6. No. 3 live albums.
3 live, yeah, because we did to Germany.
Yeah, to Germany.
But I'm thinking in terms of Frontline first.
Yeah, Frontline. Yeah, you did 5, 4.
Dangerously Close.
Yeah, that's 6. You did 6.
Yeah, that's 6.
Yeah,
that's 6. Well, the last project with Frontline was the Rock Theater Alive in America.
Right. And that's like
2 live albums from that. Then we did All Stand Together, and then we did Dangerously Close 20 years.
Right. But going back to Frontline years with those 4 albums, I think really, like I said, showed the fan base that there's nothing wrong with being a rock theater, especially when you let it up to the live albums. And that, I think, changed a lot of dynamics with your fan base because they actually got to see you, like we were talking. Unfortunately, that's the only way I ever got to see you live was watching those videos back in the early 90s.
So, Mike, what did you think of those videos?
I think I mean, as some people would say, they were cheesy if you look back on them, but it was that era. You know, you got, to me, like I said, that opened a whole new, seeing that as a theatrical story for 2 nights, 2 different storylines.
Yeah,
I think really, like I said, shown a lot about the band. You know, it opened up. I mean, and like I said, metalheads from that time period were typically they lived for it, and from and like I said, I remember talking to friends like that. They watched it, and they had a new respect for theater, I think, from that. You know, because Broadway wasn't even, Broadway was popish at that time. Going back to your hair days, it was popish. It was,
Yeah.
and and that's what people expected. They go to a Broadway show, it's going to be a pop, or it's going to be. If you go back even to listen to Oklahoma or stuff like that, it's all older music that metalheads wouldn't even care about.
Yeah, so I like the guy that said, or some people that said it was cheesy, and I would just point out that aged cheese actually gets better, and if you really know your cheese, aged cheese can be better. So,
Right.
And also sometimes you have to be real bold to understand cheese, and so people that said it was cheesy probably didn't know any better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So yeah, so we always kind of laughed that we were a little bit ahead of our time there because nobody was doing that. Nobody in the Christian rock or
Sure, on the Christian scene, for sure.
and even in secular, who was making rock theater and secular? I mean,
right.
It was Jesus Christ Superstar was the thing, there.
I mean, that was 30 years. That was 25 years prior, almost.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, it was just the idea is that the gospel message is powerful, and metal works great with powerful scripture.
Right.
It just does. He died for us. No, he died. I mean, it's brutal.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You look at the two stories you told between the two shows.
Yeah.
There was a human connection, and then there was the spiritual connection,
Yeah.
and they both intertwined at the end of each one.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about when I would watch them. And I had actually won tickets, because y'all did a handful of shows for the full production. And I had won tickets to go to one in Bloomington, Indiana, and my friend that was going to go with me had to back out at the last minute, and I kicked myself on it.
Oh my gosh, that was a great show. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would have loved to seen it, but like I said, I was lucky enough to have them on VHS. I still need to get them on DVD, and plus the documentary. The documentary, what I've watched is that's another story. We'll get to that, Trenches of Rock, here in a little bit, because that was phenomenal what Michael did, what Paul did on that for you guys.
He really, Paul Michael was fantastic.
Yeah.
He was with us from the beginning. He was just like, what, 5 or 6?
Something like that, yeah.
He rode with us. And so he definitely was the witness for sure. And he turns out doing that is what a godsend, what a call, to do that. I think it's evidence, again, of just how impactful the Bloodgood ministry is or was and is even today.
Yeah.
And we're praying that, God keeps using it, actually.
That's why we're here tonight, because I think it still has a place in music, no matter what era, because like I said, that's what I'm saying. I think those two live videos, because you'll see the videos be posted. I've posted plenty of them. I know Frontline posts a bunch of them through the year. Like I said, there's always not just us older fans. I think once younger fans see it and it can respect it, I mean, you guys were leading the way for the Skillets of the world. Because I mean, if you go to one of those shows, you've got not theatrics like a theater, but they've still got smoke and fire. So bands didn't do that. Normally, they would just get up on stage and play.
Yeah.
But I think I look at them as in the same regards to each other, because sometimes each band's trying to outdo themselves. But I think with what you all did, I think it stands the test of time because it is iconic. Because it tells that story that we just talked about, and your portrayal throughout the spiritual story as Pilate, as all that, was phenomenal. And I think that's one thing that sold it to me too, is just that now I get to see a modernization of the crucifixion, not just Jesus of Nazareth being shown on TV on Easter Sunday. I mean, using
sin killed him, right? All sin
What?
put him on.
Yeah.
So we had their jackets, and it was we stepped out of time because we're all guilty.
Yeah.
And I mean, she was so into it, she killed herself, right? In the second act.
Yeah.
The second act. Wasn't she the one? She's the one that killed herself right there. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Both wives, Michael's and Joyce in there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the first act or the second act, but Joyce was the one that
Alone in Suicide.
Alone in Suicide, and then Marilyn was she was the death hag that pulled her off the stage in ballet form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
She gave me the knife.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun to do.
It was a blessing for us to do that, and thank you so much to all the people that were involved, that gave of their time and their ability.
All volunteers from the church,
Yeah.
from that Calvary. Yeah, there was a time where churches had drama teams to visualize the message, and it was a pretty common thing for all churches to have.
Yeah, at that time, yeah, for sure. So whose idea was it to put the two different live acts together like that? Where did that come from?
What?
The two.
Oh,
it's Alive in America, Shaking the World, and Alive in
Right.
America. The idea being that the first act presented kind of all the brokenness,
Right.
and then the second act presented more
solution.
like the solution,
Right.
the hope, and the
Right, but who thought that this would be something different? Let's put out a theatrical. We know our music's theatrical. I came from the theater to say, hey, let's try this in a metal setting. Whose idea was that to lead into recording 2 live shows to get there, or 2 acts to get there?
Yeah, it was Les was the one who brought the concept, and I got on board and helped develop it. Michael and Marilyn came on, but it pretty much was led by Les.
Well, I'd always wanted to do theatrics, so with Mike and David, I was the guy with the sword that was having them jump in the air as I'm swinging under their feet and swinging back, and they were jumping. So I taught them choreography right away in the first tours, the first shows we did. We did a lot of things where I'd come between them and push the guitars open. They'd open like swinging doors and spin around. And, Demon on the Run, I would grab David's guitar and sling him across the stage and go over and slap him in the face. And, it was, so all of that came from my background in theater. And of course, those guys played along like they'd been doing it all their lives. So it was quite natural. They were all really talented in their approach to it. But I would say, yeah, the theatrical thing was my idea, for sure.
Okay.
But then, the minds that were giving into it were Joyce and Marilyn and Michael and,
And it just turned out that we had all the tools necessary. I mean, there's no budget, $0 to do this thing. But there was a church that would let the band rehearse anytime they wanted, pretty much, except for when service was going on. It was a huge stage. It was a theater because it was like a high school auditorium. So there was, backstage area and all the stuff that you need for theater. There were actors and singers that were in the drama team. So we had all these tools.
And there were carpenters and people around that were talented. So we built the sets there, and we bought drum risers and scaffolding.
Yeah.
And we just had this whole thing. And it was like God just gave it to us and said, here, create a theatrical presentation about me.
Yeah.
And you did. And like I said, it's like I said, watching those still sticks out in my mind all the time. And that's been, I hate to say it, 35 almost years ago.
Yeah. But yeah, Time flies when you're having fun, Mike.
Yeah, sure enough. So after that, we did all stand together, and that was on Broken Records, I believe.
Yeah, that's why they were hard to listen to. They were all broken, scratched. No, yeah, we did that after we left Frontline. We
And that
did.
was, go
Yeah,
ahead.
it was produced by Biff Vincent, and it was financed and produced by Maranatha, Broken Records.
Right. Yeah, they had.
And yeah, and it actually was a really good record, and it did super well in Europe. And if you watch Trenches of Rock, a lot of music came from that era, from that album. A lot of the live stuff that you saw was from that album in Germany.
Right.
Yeah, because that was the last tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was going to be the last we heard until later on, and that was a what, about 16 year hiatus.
20 years.
20.
Yeah. At least 20, maybe 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, well, Michael had gone through this thing where he had he had a problem in his
throat, carotid
artery, and his throat. It was really very traumatic, and it was life-threatening, really. And I think that after he recovered from that, I think he felt like he wanted to get the band back together. And so him and Oz had been together. Oz Fox had been together in England doing metal something. What is that? There was an outreach there. I forget the name of it. Sorry. But, and I also spoke there. A Metal Meltdown in England.
That's what I was thinking.
So it ended up that Oz and Mike were there. And, Oz and Mike became good friends. And then
Stryper was kind of on break at the same time.
Yeah, Stryper was on the break, yeah.
So Michael said, Oz, you want to come in the band and we'll do an album together? And Oz said, yeah. He asked Michael Sweet. Michael said, yeah, we're not doing anything, so go ahead. And it so happened that Oz and I lived real close together in Fontana. And so him and I got together and we started being buds and writing music for Dangerously Close. And Oz and I wrote 3 songs for Dangerously Close. And we did that together, and we did some dates. We did Nashville. We went to Germany a couple times.
Christmas rock night you did.
We did
in Germany.
Yeah, and I think we went a couple times with
Was
Oz.
it Legends?
I don't know. Maybe Legends. Yeah. How would we know this after all these gigs? We don't. And then we did some time with Oz, and gosh, it was just amazing working with him, and he's become a very dear friend, and he's an amazing guy.
Yeah, he wrote a song, played all the instruments for the He's Coming album, the first solo album Les did. He was on that.
He wrote all the music for Judas is Dead.
Oh man.
And I wrote the melody and lyrics and the theatrical portion of it,
Which it turns out Judas is Dead works really well live just before Crucify and Messiah.
That does sound like a good combo.
Yeah, because that's how it happened in
It
Scripture.
talks about the betrayal.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You took that, like I said earlier, with the album and some of the, and then leading into with the theatrics. It always just seemed to flow. That with Rock in a Hard Place, that album flowed really well.
Yeah. So now we use a combination of our music, the solo music, but also some of the Bloodgood stuff, and it's still the same idea, the same concept. So if something works like Judas is Dead before Crucify, we do it sometimes that way. And it works out cool. And we got Scars, which are the nail prints in Christ's hands. And,
right.
Yeah, so, and, 7 is great, too, to end all of everything. So, 7 is from the book of Revelation. So, yeah,
You're still telling that story.
Yeah, exactly. Between Bloodgood and my solo projects, we're still telling the story.
And adding to it.
Adding to it, yeah.
I mean, that's one thing that's always impressed you. Like I said, I mean, luckily I've been able to see, like I said, those live videos from the '90s, but then now seeing the stuff from like Immortal Fest and things like that where you performed, and getting to see some of what happens today. Like I said, I hate to say it, like I said, 35 years later, but it's still the same story, which has always been the same story. It's just you're still able to do it, and that is just amazing. I mean, we were discussing age earlier, and I was just my mouth about dropped when he was talking about your age, and I'm like, this man and Alice Cooper, we use him as an example, who does theatrics as well, are still putting on some serious rock and roll show.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, and I'm happy for you to be able to do that. Not many people can say that can still put on a rock show at that caliber. There's a few others, but not many. Everybody, you was talking about the Stones earlier. Everybody jokes are they going to still walk on them walkers now that they're pushing it? They're in their early 80s. Some of them, or they have to sit out there on a motorized wheelchair or something while they play. That's been the running gag for a few years now. So,
yeah, gotta hand it, they're still going.
They're still going. They got a new album. What, it just came out or is getting ready to come out that they're releasing songs for with different newer stars helping them out along the way. But still,
That's
yeah. I mean, how else if you can do it. You go for it. Actors go up and some of them. I mean, you got Clint Eastwood's in his 90s directing movies. You got Mel Brooks is over 100 now directing movies. So why not?
Yeah. No, I mean that if it's in your blood, it's in your blood. That's what you do. You don't. McCartney's up there too. He's still going for it.
Ooh,
wow. You still there, Mike? Mike? Okay.
Ruh-roh.
We lost Mike.
We lost him.
Oh, now what do we do?
I don't know. What do we do now?
I don't know. I wonder if this is still alive. If it is, how you doing out there?
Sorry guys, I disappeared for a minute there on accident.
Did we just get punked? What happened?
Yeah, Mike's just playing a game.
He's ghosting us.
What? We thought we had to perform. I started doing a dance. Hey, wait till Mike gets back.
I'm coming back. I'm back.
Thanks for coming.
All right. No, sorry. Dale Thompson said, whoops, he's here.
Yeah.
What's up, Dale?
Dale's on?
Dale Thompson, he's in the chat.
He is? Hey, Dale, what's up?
I can't see him.
Dale,
Dale,
we got to talk to you later.
Yeah, y'all. I've seen that. Y'all worked together on a couple songs. One of the somewhere was I think the last Immortal Fest. Y'all got up there and did a song together.
Oh yeah. I got some video of that and some cool pictures and stuff. Yeah,
that was fun.
Love those guys. Yeah, we did a show in Mexico City. It was the Voices of Rock. It wasn't the bands. It was just the singers. And fortunately, Troy plays guitar. It was awesome. So Troy and Dale, and we got to hang a little bit, and really like those guys.
Yeah, you got to have Troy. I mean,
Dale said, I am in my 60s and I am retiring.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Well, Les says you're actually just retreading.
Yeah, you're retreading because
Well,
and here's the thing, Dale. It doesn't. If you want to retire, you can do that, and it's fine because you recorded some of the greatest Christian rock albums on the planet, and people can still get them and listen to them. And you are phenomenal. His voice is crazy great.
Yeah,
his songs are great. His brother Troy is an amazing guitar player. They're just he plays
all kinds of instruments.
Yeah. Troy is remarkable.
They're really, really incredible brothers, and what a gift to the body. So, yeah.
And Dale isn't actually retiring. He's just changing course.
He writes books.
Yeah, he's going.
Yep. And their books are really good. So, and the short stories are excellent too. I mean, we've all got different stuff. Talk about stories. We've all got different stories to tell, either be in a song or be it talking like we're talking now, or
writing a book.
Yeah. All right, Dale says, let's go back to Les.
Well, thanks. Thanks, Dale.
Well, that's what you get, Dale.
Maybe we'll do a show together next week. But we are there. We may do a show with Bride in Brazil in November. We just have to get it straight. Why are you looking like that? We got an offer to do a show together in Brazil, and but the promoter needs to get back to us. So if you're watching, get back to us. But we're indifferent. We'll go if he's ready, and if he's not, then we'll stay home and write more music.
Yeah,
right.
More music from Les Carlsen.
Right, and Joyce.
Oh yeah, she's got great music. She's doing a bunch of stuff too. She's going to start releasing some things on her own because she's just got. Yeah, she's in another genre, but she is. She does everything actually.
Let me ask you that. You were talking about other countries, right? Let's talk about that. When you're talking about playing overseas, has it always amazed you how much the Christian rock scene is in other countries compared to the U.S.? Because the U.S. is fickle for some reason.
Yeah, in Europe, you're just known as a band. You're not judged to be Christian or non-Christian or black metal or satanic metal. It's just like if they like your band, they like your band. They don't not listen to you because you're Christian. So they love Bloodgood. Wow. Germany is crazy for Bloodgood. And I like Germany quite a bit.
Yeah. So, because that's always blew my mind. I mean, going back to what you're saying, how open that the world is to something that churches typically in the United States have been hard pressed to even touch anything harder than a CCM artist of any time, not just today's modern scene, but throughout history. You either back in the day it was all Southern gospel.
Yeah.
Then we moved into the CCM market, and then we moved into the worship market that we're in now. There's metal bands, hard rock bands that do a worship sound or lyrically, but this church still don't want to touch them. Like it's a prime example, a band that that I'd love to see churches bring in, but they're too hard for, and that's Chaotic Resemblance.
Oh gosh, they're awesome.
Oh yeah, and Travis is one of my all-time favorite speakers. Give him 5 minutes, he'll take 20 when it comes to speaking, whatever he feels led to say.
Yeah, he is. He's the real deal. When I first met Travis, actually Oz Fox introduced me to Travis in L.A. Travis and L.A. And I saw them in Utah in the studio somewhere, and on their first album, and I fell in love with those guys. And I thought to myself, these guys, it's like handing the baton to them. And Travis is just like 10 times the preacher I am. He's just a fantastic man.
Yeah, me and Logan or LA have talked about them covering one of your songs before, and they say, "Yeah, that would be such an honor." I said, "Well, let's see. Let's pray it to make it happen. Get you all, and get Les to work together again, but using Les's vocals and Travis's vocals on one of the songs. That'd be awesome."
Hey, they've got it because those guys, they're my buddies. I mean, we've spent some really a lot of personal time with them. They're fantastic. And another group is Disciple, Kevin.
Oh Young, yeah,
and guys Josiah and
the whole band. I mean, both of them.
They're amazing. And I thought the same thing with Kevin, that, yeah, here's the younger breed coming in and preaching the gospel the way that Bloodgood used to do.
Right. Exactly.
We're playing together at Loud and Proud.
Yeah. If you look behind me, I mean, you probably can't tell, but there is a poster behind me from a show I've helped promote a couple years back, and that Disciple and Chaotic both played at.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, like I said, be Striper, Petra, Chaotic Resemblance, Disciple, Cutlass, Les Carlsen, Bride. We're all doing the Loud and Proud Festival in September this year in Germany.
yeah, bring it to the States. Bring it to the States. No, we have that with Immortal Fest, but that's still a 6-hour drive for me, so it's kind of rough to get to do that to me.
Yeah. So welcome back, Joyce. Mom, she's just checking on Mama.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, Mama's doing fine.
Mama's doing
She's
fine.
doing fine. She's 1,000 years old. Oh, no, Mom, you're not 1,000. You're 101. I know, but I feel like I'm 1,000. Okay.
Gosh, I can't even imagine.
She's brilliant. Yeah.
She still got her mind and everything?
Huh?
She still got her mind and everything?
Well, yeah.
It comes and goes.
Yeah. Sometimes she takes us back to places that don't exist, but they do exist in her memory. So we are blessed to be there to listen and to encourage.
We've had to learn creativity in communication, and lots of patience. So God's been using my mother to teach us things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things we all don't realize when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot involved, and most of the weight falls on Joyce because the females got to do female stuff together. But overall, we love her deeply, and we understand that she is in our care, and we honor Christ through that. And whenever we find ourselves not doing that, we immediately go back and say, "Sorry, Lord.
Yeah.
We're not giving up. She belongs to you, and we belong to you. And we got to watch her, and we got to help her through this phase."
Yeah, it's like my mom wants me to come over all the time. She don't live that far from me, but she lives across the river from where I live from Louisville, Kentucky. She lives just in Indiana, where I grew up. But I call her every day, sometimes twice a day. So I understand communicating with someone. My mother's not that old, but it's just something that we all are close. My whole family, mom, dad, brother, sister, are all pretty close. It's like my sister messaged me this morning, said, "Hey, pray for me while I got a job interview today to get chaplain at a hospital." So we always are checking on each other. I mean, we might not talk every day, every week, but we'll at least send out a message or say hey or just check on each other.
That's good.
Are you all believers?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, see, there's that common thread of Christ in you.
Right. So, but we've all got life, like we were talking earlier. I've got life happened between all of us. I mean, my sister's got a 15-year-old son that just had brain surgery a couple months ago.
Oh.
Because he when he was younger, he had what they call aplastic anemia and was put in the hospital for almost a full year. And when he came out, the doctor said he was a miracle child because they didn't expect him to come out. But the doctors used the word miracle for him. It was something. And then my brother and his family has their own personal issues that they're dealing with. I have some issues in my family that we're dealing with on different levels. So we're always looking at something, but that's been what's held the glue together is the faith and prayer. And I tell people every day, everybody's like, how do you get through life? Faith and prayer every day.
Well, that's good. And for those of you out there that are watching this, that's truth, and you need to pray, and you need to love God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind, and your neighbor as yourself, because He told us to.
Right. A lot of people don't believe in that love your neighbor type thing. They turn their head really quick.
They better start listening to Jesus. I mean, people, you got to listen to Jesus. You can't take His words and just think that they're not meaningful. because
Right.
it's life, and it's life everlasting. And if you are not with him, you're against him, and that's not a good place to be.
No. So going from there to where, what was, you don't have to go all the way in detail, but what led you to faith 40 years ago or 40 plus years ago?
Okay, all right. Well, when we were back in the clubs in the 80s, early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, and we were doing what we were doing, and we were very successful at it, top of the game, and we had to replace a musician because one guy left, and we hired a keyboard player from Seattle that we'd never heard of before, which was unusual because we knew everybody in that circle. I mean, but this guy we didn't know, and he was fantastic. He was a great, he was a good singer. He was good looking, dressed cool. He played keyboards and guitar,
Read music.
and he read music, and he was
great instrument.
very prepared. Came in, auditioned, and we just like, wow. I mean, fantastic.
Where did you come from?
Yeah. So anyway, he was in the band, and in the course of being in the band with him, we'd noticed that he was, he was just a little different in whatever way. I didn't know exactly. I couldn't put my hand or finger on it. I was like, Don, do you want to come out and smoke some weed with us on the break? No, thanks. You guys go ahead. How about some cocaine, man? Would you like that? It's like, oh, no, thanks. Okay. I come to him one day. I said, what's with you, dude? I mean, what is it about you that's different? He said, well, what do you mean? I said, I don't know. He says, well, I have a relationship with Jesus. And I went, okay. Oh, my God. I was just like, hold on, stop, And my reaction to it was like, I was like Michael Jackson doing the moonwalk backwards, And after I'd gone through that little experience, I thought to myself, why did I react that way when he mentioned Jesus? Why was I so bummed out? And I thought, well, maybe there's something to Jesus, because that guy was very attractive until he said he was a follower of Christ. And so anyway, that was the beginning. And he was just gracious the whole time, and just a wonderful guy. He gave us a book, More Than a Carpenter by Josh McDowell. And I got that book and I started reading it. And of course I was hiding it from Joyce because I didn't want her to know that I was being drawn to Christ. And I think she was doing the same thing simultaneously. Anyway, long story short, we realized, oh my gosh, we're both being attracted to God. And we asked Don what we're supposed to do. And he said, well, you should ask him into your heart. Ask him to be Lord. And so we did. We together went back in the bedroom and got on our knees, and we asked Jesus to forgive us of our sins, and that we realized,
many.
Yeah, which we were probably had hit every box. And
Never killed him.
Well, if you hated your brother, or, anyway, yeah, we're guilty. And anyway, so we realized that Jesus was God in the flesh from reading Josh McDowell. And so we got on our knees together and asked Jesus into our heart. And at the same time, we received the Holy Spirit. I mean, we received Jesus. We received him right then and there. And we were crying like babies. And we looked at each other, and she looked to me like a young, just innocent, wonderful, young, sweet girl. And I looked like
we just our eyes were open. We saw Christ in each other. It was just this immediate transformation, just slate wiped clean, brand new start,
and knew it.
And we knew it. We saw
knew
each
that
other.
We knew
it was
that
like,
we knew it.
We're different right this very second.
Yeah,
we're different. We're new. We have a new start. And from there, we just grew closer to Christ, and the old man just fell away, and we started to walk in the newness of Christ. And yeah.
I went up and bought 2 Bibles. I went to the Christian Bible bookstore. I bought one for her and one for me, and we read those Bibles.
We devoured them.
And we were still working in the nightclubs, and we'd never gone to church yet. We didn't, we hadn't gone to church. But we're reading the Word every day. We come back after the gig, 2:00 in the morning, read the Word, fall asleep, get up, read the Word all day till it was time to go back to work in the clubs again. I mean, we were just consumed.
We brought our Bibles to work, and
so now we're
breaks.
Now we're doing lines of Galatians, instead of cocaine lines. Lines of John, we're just doing lines, man. And it was just a radical transformation. And I still feel pretty radical about it. I mean, got to keep that fire burning,
And now we're quoting Striper songs now.
Well, I thought Joyce was going to say, and we were never be the same. All
right. So that was like you said, that was a radical conversion. So that is, especially in the 80s, where, like you just said, that was the decade of decadence, and you were living that. Sounds like.
Yeah, we were, and we were really good at it.
Yeah, we were good. We were the worst.
Good little sinners.
Yeah.
And then everything changed, and then shortly after that, through a series of events, the band dissolved, and we started just this new life. And both of us just said, you know what, this whole music thing,
club band,
the whole idea of music, everything, because it had been kind of an idol for us. Both of us really were seeking success, and so we just put it aside. And he started roofing houses with one of the contractors from church that gave him a job, and I would cut hair and do things
Mary
to help
Kay.
people. And I did Mary Kay, just trying to earn some money, but at the same time just like rejoicing in our new lives. And then the pastor that we started going to the church said, Les, God can use you. He can use your past, your testimony, and he can use you and your music to influence young people. Why don't you consider doing that? And we had an 18-year-old son at the time that was living proof that there was a generation that was being lost to the whole metal scene. And at the same time, Michael was working Northwest Guitars and finding that with the clientele that there was. And so he was called to start ministering to youth. So the fact that God grew us up so quickly in the faith was because, Michael and JT were looking for a singer for this band that they wanted to start. And Les got the call to be a metal singer to start a band for our son and his friends and people like that. And, God just brought the two together.
Entities.
Yeah. And Bloodgood was born out of that.
Yeah.
So, going back to Bloodgood, and then we'll move on to something else here. Your fondest memory with Bloodgood. Not Michael in general, but the band. Or Michael. Either one.
And what?
Well, yeah.
Your fondest memory of Michael, or as in Bloodgood as a band.
Finest memory?
Fondest.
Oh, fondest. I think the just the early Bloodgood touring, being on stage, presenting the gospel together. We were literally called to do it. And when there's a calling, there's a commonality that we all shared. And we were passionate about sharing the gospel and what Christ had done in our lives. And we had this, platform looking like believable metal rockers singing the gospel with a great group of players and theatrics and everything. I think it was just it was a monumental time. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And just being out on the road, Michael was always just Michael was funny and spiritual and strong and just a good leader.
Cheerful. Always kind of had a great
Yeah.
attitude, smiling.
Yeah.
Mikey.
Yeah. And so I mean, it was good, and we miss him quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so now we're in the year 2026. You and Joyce are putting music out together. I know you say there's music. She's working on her own thing. You're working on your thing, but you're at the same time.
We're actually working.
No, we're working together.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So
yeah.
So where does 2026, 2027 look for the future? We've looked at the past.
Right.
Let's look at the future. Where does that go from here? You think, like I said, you're not slowing down. You're actually picking back up.
Yeah. Okay. So we're releasing this Friday, Truth and Love.
That's the third single
Another
from the
single.
Free Will album.
Off of Free Will.
Yeah. So that's going out. And
we're writing, we're still writing new songs.
We're going back through, still getting new ideas, but going back through years of lyrics and music and reviving things and just looking at what the next season.
Yeah, we're just applying every modern tool that we can to everything that we've ever done, and we have another tour, Joyce and I, in Germany next summer.
Yeah, and we've got the BMI Center again.
Yeah, the BMI Center is going to be really cool, September 11th.
Yeah, and it's just the two of us.
Immortal Fest.
Right.
Fest.
And we're doing a Les Joyce show.
And a visual thing.
Then the full band in Germany with Stryper and Petra and Bride and Disciple and
Narnia and all kinds of good bands.
Yeah, and then possibly the Brazil thing. I think Costa Rica is for sure, but possibly Brazil. If that doesn't happen, then whatever. And then next summer is another tour in Germany for Les and Joyce, and one of our guitar players as well, possibly. So anyway, yeah.
Because you're not slowing. That's what I'm saying. You're not slowing down one bit.
No.
You're actually picked up more than you have in the last 30 years. It seems like.
And we started a Patreon. Because as most people realize, there's not, we get like 0.03 of a cent every time 10 people stream one of the songs. And so anyway, it helps support what we're doing. And we've got some supporters that have already signed on as members for Patreon, and a little plug for Patreon.
So a big plug for that, because basically, folks, you may be under the impression that we are just, my bank account is just stacked for all these years of all this rock and roll, and you know who I am. But the thing is that we don't get paid very much money for this. It's really, we never did it for the money, but of course, you still have to eat. And like all of us, almost every one of the Christian bands is doing something in that area just to cover
supplement
the expense. We literally have to finance most of these gigs that we do.
Yeah.
So, and we do it to preach the gospel. So we're not whining, but we're telling you, don't just poo-poo it. Think about it. If you want to support missionaries that are doing what we do, look at Patreon and flip us $5 or $6 a month. You get 100 people doing that. It helps quite a bit. It is what it is. So, not going to minimize it. I'm going to say, if you have a conscience that wants to help out, put some cash there, because we could use it. And we're certainly not driving Corvettes.
Oh gosh, we drive a 22-year-old car.
So that's fine, because the King of Kings did not own land didn't own a house. He didn't own, he didn't even own a donkey. So we're not complaining. We're just saying the reality is that a lot of people think that we're rich financially, and we're just not that. Okay.
Yeah.
But we are rich. We're rich in him.
Yes.
Rich in glory.
Yeah, so we're busy.
So sign up. Let's go.
We're in a bunch of different areas, and we're just loving continuing to create and get lyrics and get new ideas. Yeah.
Playing guitar, and as soon as I get my drum kit
Doing
back,
vocal
I'm gonna
lessons,
do that.
all that stuff.
Yeah, we're still doing vocal lessons.
Yeah.
And we're doing push-ups, and we're lifting weights, and we're doing whatever it takes to fight gravity.
Right, for sure on that. Yeah,
That's what.
gravity didn't like me a couple days ago, so I took a fall. So,
Ow.
What's that?
I said, "Ouch" for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to climb up. I was just up a small 6-inch step into my apartment and boom, went down face first, hit my knee, scraped it up pretty good. So
Yeah, it happens. That's
gravity sucks sometimes.
yeah. So, Mike, I just want to say thanks, man, for having us on today.
No problem.
I mean,
Appreciate you being on this. What's that?
I say, do you have any more vital questions that need to be asked? Anything?
Well, where else can we find you besides Patreon?
Les' a website, lescarlsenmusic.com. And most of the...
We have a store.
Yeah, we have a store on the website that has some T-shirts. And
St. John in Exile.
You can get St. John there, and the music, the CDs, and a single.
Vinyl.
Yeah, and your Carlsen Cromwell project
Oh,
that
yeah.
you did a long time ago. Yeah, and of course, Facebook and Instagram and
Spotify.
Yes, we haven't really done much on TikTok, but yeah, there's just socials.
You know what? The thing is, we passionately love to entertain. We like to make music for people. And so we're just saying, hey, give us a listen. We're pretty, involved in doing what we do. We don't see ourselves slowing down. So if you want to be a part of our life, just be a part of our life. We love you listen to our music and tell us that you like it. And if you don't like it, you can tell us that too. And I probably won't befriend you. I mean, it won't happen.
Yeah, there's got 5,000 people on regular my personal Facebook, and people are like, "Why don't you unfriend people if you don't agree with them?" That's the point. We all disagree we agree to disagree sometimes, and love each other still.
I don't comment a lot of times because I don't want to. I really, fans are fans. People, I don't want to get involved in political stuff or anything like that.
The kingdom is not of this world.
Yeah, and I
So
will
that's
say,
the king we serve.
I will say, if you are ever befriended by me, you deserve it. And
Well,
you are, because I think I can think of one, but boy, I'll tell you, I'm a patient, loving guy, but sometimes, folks, you got to watch out. You got to watch out what you do. There's some people out there that are just so mean and nasty and ugly, and they just want to get you riled up. Those guys, I will see you. Don't want to talk to you.
Right. Same here. Same here. All right, Les and Joyce, I appreciate your all joining me this evening, and keep going and rocking for the rock. Again, I appreciate y'all being on here. I look forward to the new music on Friday. Try to remember to share it on my next Spotify playlist that I'm working on. I promise. It's just taking some life happens when I get going here sometimes and get twisted sideways. So, but anyways, this is Metal Mike. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, and let's see. Did I say Instagram? I think I did, but 5 different places. Just look for me. Just you can do a Google search and find me. Just Radio Oz with Metal Mike. Everybody have a great evening. Y'all stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Joyce, if y'all stay on for 1 minute afterwards, we'll talk for a minute, and we'll get off here.
Sure.
Thanks, guys.